Hi, my name is Vanessa van Dijk, and in this video we are looking into what to use with Differin Gel. Now, from my experience, it works the best to use the Differin Gel on its own. So keeping the routine as simple and gentle as possible so that it's less likely to be influenced by something that you're going to add and then potentially increase the risk of experiencing more dryness or sensitivity. Now, you're going to use the Differin Gel on its own once per day, either in the morning or evening, and then go ahead and keep on going that specific routine and time of use. So if you now say, well, you want to use the Differin Gel in the morning, I have an example routine for you, and the same applies to if you decide to just use it in the evening. I have prepared it for you in a PowerPoint with additional information which I do want to cover as well, and you will be able to find the entire PowerPoint in the description box down below, and you can even download it and save it to your device. So if you now say, well, I want to use it in the morning, here you can see the example routine. It is basically a 3-step morning skincare routine. So we are starting off with washing the face using a regular cleanser that's suitable for your skin type. So please avoid exfoliating acid cleansers containing salicylic acid, glycolic acid, or even lactic acid, since this can potentially increase the risk of experiencing more dryness or sensitivity like stinging, burning, or redness when using it in the same routine as your Differin Gel. So please therefore just move on with, or basically start with a regular cleanser to properly wash your face. Then rinse it off and then pat the skin dry, so remove the remaining water drops from the skin surface and then head into the application of your Differin Gel. So use about a pea-sized amount and then apply it evenly all over your face. Make sure that it's just a thin layer, and then there you have it. And then give it a moment to absorb into the skin to set, so between 1 to 2 minutes, before doing the application of your sunscreen to protect the skin from the damaging UV rays throughout the day. And then you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Now, when it comes to your sunscreen, this can be a mineral sunscreen, this can be a chemical one, or a mixture of mineral or chemical one. You can see 2 great examples that I can recommend. However, of course, if you should have a different sunscreen that works well for you, replace it. Nonetheless, it is important to protect the skin throughout the day. Now, below you will have a general guide when putting this into practice, so when trying this routine at home. Now, if you now say, well, I do not want to use my Differin Gel in the morning, I want to use it in the evening instead, well, then here you can see the example evening skincare routine. So what's primarily going to change is your cleansing step and your moisturizing step. So instead of your sunscreen, you're going to use a moisturizer in the evening. Now, let me explain to you with the cleansing step. It is important that you're going to adjust your cleansing method based on what you have worn throughout the day. So if you had a chemical sunscreen or like a mixture of chemical and mineral that usually comes off quite easily, your regular cleanser is able to properly break it down and take it off the skin, and then there you only go with the same cleanser that you used in the morning. This can work extremely well. However, if you should have picked a mineral sunscreen or even had makeup on, then you're more likely to work with an oil or balm cleanser instead, so you can properly break it down to end up with a freshly washed and clean face. Now, either of those cleansers can be used on their own, or you can go ahead and do a double cleanse using an oil or balm cleanser at first and then head into your regular cleanser. I do have the different cleansing methods below as well under the sunscreen guide. Nonetheless, again, avoid exfoliating acid cleansers when working with your Differin Gel in the same routine. Then rinse it off, pat the skin dry, so remove the remaining water drops from the skin surface, and then again head into the application of your Differin Gel and apply it evenly and thinly all over, and then you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Now, when it comes to your moisturizer step, I did mention that it's an optional step, because the way I personally like to use it is I like to use it in the evening, and whenever I'm using it in the evening, I like to use it on its own. So basically just washing my face and then finishing with the Differin Gel. I do not like to follow with a moisturizer afterwards, but of course this primarily depends on how dry your skin may become and even your skin type already in the first place, because if you have an oilier skin type, you may enjoy a bit of like more drying feeling. However, if you have already more of a drier skin type, you're working with Differin Gel, you feel like something is missing, something hydrating or moisturizing is missing, well then of course you can follow with your moisturizer afterwards. Just again, make sure that you're going to wait those 1 to 2 minutes in between for the Differin Gel to absorb and set before heading into the application of your moisturizer. And then use about a pea-sized to bean-sized amount to evenly and thinly apply it all over. Now, when it comes to the moisturizer, you can see the 4 examples that I have picked, which I can recommend as well. But if you can, or if you should have already such a moisturizer at home, my recommendation would be using a moisturizer that contains natural moisturizing factors, such as the one from The Ordinary or Nio's Hydration Vaccine, because those contain elements that we have naturally present in the skin that can help to rebuild and strengthen the skin barrier. So therefore, this would always be my preference when choosing a moisturizer. Nonetheless, if you're currently using a moisturizer that works well for you, well then go ahead, keep on going, and then there's no need to wash it off once you have applied it evenly all over your face and maybe neck as well. But again, you have the overall general guide below. And so then this would be an example of how you can include it in a morning routine or evening skincare routine. Now, there are certain points that I do need to emphasize as well. First of all, it would be my retinol and retinoids information guide, because it's often a bit confused of what they can do and what they basically are. So your Differin Gel, it's basically adapalene and it is a retinoid, which is important to understand. And so I often get the question if you can use such products during pregnancy. Well, it is kind of controversial since there is a potential danger for the unborn. So therefore, I recommend to always contact your doctor and basically ask for his or her advice if you should use it during your pregnancy or not. But my best advice, of course, would be if you can, then avoid it for sure, so that it's not going to potentially influence your baby as well. And then another point would be if you need to use a sunscreen in the evening when working with your retinol or retinoids. Overall, you just need to use your sunscreen throughout the day, since this is where you have sun exposure. In the evening, there's no sun, so therefore you can skip it. And if you like to just replace it with your moisturizer instead. Then below that you can find the overall general skincare tips and so much more, but I want to keep my focus towards the general skincare tips at first. So below you can see the patch test guide, which I can always recommend if you're new to a specific product, you're unsure how your skin is going to respond before applying it all over your face and neck. Do a little patch test on your upper forearm. You can read it in your own time on how you can do this, but I primarily want to keep my focus towards this slide right here. So you can see I have 3 points right here, and I want to keep the main focus towards damp skin versus wet skin. Now this is often confused, and so wet skin is basically once you have rinsed off your cleanser, you can still see the remaining water drops on the skin surface. This is wet skin. So damp skin refers to taking a towel and gently paddle over to remove the remaining water drops from the skin surface, and then there you have damp skin. Now the skin remains damp for up to 30 minutes. And so whenever you're going to apply your skincare products still on damp skin, it can have its benefits that it's going to absorb much better into the skin. But if you have already a bit more of like sensitive skin, then this can also be the drawback, because then it's going to absorb much faster into the skin. Therefore, your skin is going to be a bit more overwhelmed and basically create sensitivity towards it. And this can be especially noticeable when using your retinol or retinoids, such as your Differin Gel or exfoliating acids. And so therefore, if that should be the case, you can go ahead and wait for the dampness to be much less. So you can wait between 5 to 10 minutes so that the skin starts to dry a bit further, so that it isn't as likely to absorb that fast into the skin. And then this should already make a significant difference on how your skin is going to respond to it. So this can be one point on how you can reduce sensitivity when working with such products. And then of course below I mentioned already the waiting time between applications, but of course with your Differin Gel it's a much of a thicker texture, therefore I recommend waiting between 1 to 2 minutes. Below that you will have also other additional information, as well as skincare peeling versus skin peeling, which you can read in your own time. Below you have the sunscreen information guide, which I did specifically cover as well in, like, as you can see, the different slides, plus the application and the removal guide. And then below that you can see the skincare product descriptions. But overall, those are points that you can read in your own time. I just want to keep my main focus to what's important for this specific video that I want to emphasize clearly. And so there you have what you can use with Differin Gel. So again, to wrap it all up, keep it simple and as short as possible to reduce likelihood of experiencing dryness and sensitivity. And so this is what I wanted to share with you. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did so, please don't forget to give the thumbs up as well as share it. And if you now want to see the application of the Differin Gel, I do have such a video on my channel, and I'm going to leave it at the end of this video so that you can see it visually as well. Now, if you enjoyed this video, want to support my work, you're more than welcome to do so. So you can click on the super thanks button below this video or check out the description box, there you will find a PayPal link. Otherwise, don't forget to give it a thumbs up as well as share it with your friends and family if you find this guide helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skin caring. Bye.